My name is Kayla Guidry. I'm a student at Texas Southern University. I'm interviewing Mary Case on the topic of racism, discrimination, and racial profiling. I'm going to ask her a series of questions, and I'm going to start by asking, when were you born?
I was born October the 10th in 1945.
All right. Next question is, was racism a topic of conversation in your household?
No, it was not. I grew up with four brothers and an older sister, and my mother was a single parent by then. We didn't have time to discuss race. Our main topic was survival. We talked about the things that we would do to make life easy for ourselves. We discussed supporting each other in whatever it was we decided to do, but we didn't discuss race.
Next question is, what were your encounters with those of different racial backgrounds like?
I personally didn't have any encounters with people of a different nationality because when I was a child growing up, I attended an all black elementary school, I attended an all black high school. But I have a brother who encountered some difficulties with some of the white boys in the hometown that we grew up in. He was approached one night by five white boys who attacked him. And he happened to have a very small penknife, about an inch long. The blade couldn't have been any more than an inch long. He pulled it out and he struck one of the boys because they were attacking him. He ran to the house on the corner, which happened to be the home of the policeman. And the policeman ignored him. He didn't want to open the door because he didn't want to get involved. My brother cut this guy, and it was a bad cut, and my brother ended up going to jail for defending himself against five white boys.
All right, next question. What is your highest level of education?
I graduated high school, and I also went to, um, I got a certificate for secretarial science. Was a vocational school. It was not an accredited college, but I'm very happy to say that I graduated salutatorian of that class. So it was beneficial to me to take the course. I learned a great deal from it.
All right. Next question is, throughout your school career, were there people of other racial background in your classes?
No, absolutely not. Like I said earlier, when I grew up, segregation was the name of the game. People that attended my school, they all looked like me.
All right. Why don't you think why don't you think you saw any other race in your classes?
It was simply because segregation was in effect. The schools did not become completely integrated until I believe in 1965, and by then I had graduated high school. Um, every school I attended was a predominantly black school, but the children that came after me attended schools that had been that had been integrated.
Next question is, what is a memorable moment in history that you were alive to witness?
Oh, there are quite a few memorable moments in my lifetime. The first one was terribly tragic. Was the assassination of our president, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, in '63. I was a junior in high school, and someone had a radio somewhere in the building. And when the news was broadcast that the president had been shot and later died, there was absolute silence throughout the entire building. Everybody just got extremely quiet. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what was going to happen because this was an historic moment. We just weren't prepared for it. We'd never experienced anything like that. And if I can recall, the entire globe was watching America. It was sad. It was a very sad and tragic event. Now, the other thing that occurred in my youth or in my lifetime that I found memorable was the nomination and election of an African American president. That was fairly recent. Um, I never thought that I would live long enough to witness such an event, and I'm very happy to say that I witnessed it with my children. We had a celebration in my home on the day of the inauguration. I was just disappointed that I didn't spend a little more time and effort in trying to attend the inauguration because That, in fact, would have been a moment I wanted to be a part of.
Alright. And why were these moments in history so memorable to you?
Well, because the killing of our president, that was a monumental moment in our life. The only other president, to my knowledge, that had been assassinated, but this was part of history, was Abraham Lincoln. So the assassination of John F. Kennedy in my lifetime couldn't be anything but a memorable event. And the election of a president in a country, in America, when everything was geared toward the benefit and the success of the white man, it was virtually an totally unexpected event when President Obama was elected president. And since the African American population is only about 12 to 15% of the overall population, it proves to me that other people voted for him because the African American population alone couldn't have put President Obama in the White House.
Next question would be, what differences do you see now from your childhood?
The primary differences I see now from when I was a child is that the children of today have many, many more opportunities that are available to them. For instance, they have an opportunity to go to college if they want to. If they maintain the academic grades, they can do that. All you have to do is apply for a student grant or a student loan. Those resources was not available to me when I was that age because my aspiration, believe it or not, was to become a psychiatrist.
All right, last question. You have any advice or comments you'd like to give young people today?
Well, the only advice that I could conceivably give to any child today is to take advantage of all the resources that you have available to you. Go to college, get a decent education, learn to live with your neighbor, interact with people of different nationalities, talk to them, because the only thing that separates us from these other nationalities is fear. People don't want to become close to someone they're not familiar with because they fear the unknown. They don't know how the interaction is going to occur. I met a young girl when I was working for the federal government who had never known anyone black. She and I got to be very good friends. As a matter of fact, I helped her out a lot on the job because for some reason I seemed to be a little more organized and a little more efficient than she was. So she told her mother about me and asked could she bring me home. And she did. So I went to her house and I met with her mother. We had a lovely time, but I could sense that her mother was still a little standoffish because you have to realize, I was the very first African American that these people had ever known close up. So yeah, there's a lot that the young people could take advantage of today. Just be a little more outgoing, be a little more accepting, and learn a little bit about the people that live and walk around you. Take advantage of that.
All right, that concludes this interview. Thank you.